Senator Ted Cruz of Texas is leading a tour to the border this Friday and has written a letter to President Biden pleading with him to let reporters come along. And part of the letter reads as such: "Your administration clearly and emphatically refused to offer press access. This is outrageous and hypocritical," end quote. I want to bring in now Senator Cruz, Republican from Texas, joining me now. Senator, welcome to the program. First of all, the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, has told me the same thing. Reporters not welcome to come, and that was weeks ago. What is going on? What is it that we can't see? What don't they want us to know?
Well, it's a crisis that's unfolding. It's getting worse and worse every day. It is the direct result of political decisions made by the Biden administration. As soon as Joe Biden was sworn in, he halted construction on the border wall. He reinstituted the failed policy of catch and release, so they're releasing illegal immigrants who are detained now. And they're doing that in many cases without COVID testing them. And he repealed the Remain in Mexico policy, which was a tremendous foreign policy and immigration victory that the Trump administration had negotiated with Mexico. Joe Biden tore that apart, and the result is we're seeing a crisis. Last month, over 100,000 illegal aliens were detained at the border, and it's getting worse. We're seeing in particular more and more kids, unaccompanied kids, young children, kids in cages, as the media told us for 4 years relentlessly during Donald Trump. Well, there are a lot more kids in cages right now. And the Biden administration doesn't want anyone to know this. And so on Friday, I'm taking 17 senators down to the border to meet with Border Patrol, to see the detention facilities, to visit with law enforcement, to hear the concerns down on the border in Texas. I've spent a lot of time down there. And astonishingly, the Biden administration is refusing to allow any media to accompany us. We had requests. Fox News wanted to come with us. ABC News wanted to come with us, in bed with us. And the Biden administration's argument, it's really quite absurd, is that apparently the media, you guys are too much of a risk of COVID. That's their stated justification. Never mind that they are packing thousands upon thousands of illegal immigrants in packed facilities. It is reporters and cameramen that pose the COVID threat. And Harris, that's obviously absurd. I can tell you, I've taken border trips. I've been to those facilities many times in the Obama administration, in the Trump administration, and they've always let media in. It is only the Biden administration that is engaged in this blackout.
Well, look, there is another type of spread, and that is hypocrisy and a lack of transparency. And so that is also what, they don't want us to see, I would imagine. A couple of questions for you, though, because I really want to understand the logistics of this. So our reporter just said that 150 people, at least that we know about, could be more, right, have not had court dates set. That's usually what happens. You come over, the due process starts, and then they give you a date, you report, so on and so forth, so that we can keep up with people. We're doing a call us back, reach back mode. How much of that is happening?
Well, it's catch and release, which they've implemented in place, and you combine that with ending the Remain in Mexico policy. So the majority of those crossing the border illegally are not from Mexico. Many of them are from Central America, and they travel illegally through Mexico. And what the Trump administration negotiated with the government of Mexico is that if they file an asylum application in the United States, that they remain in Mexico while that case is pending. The Biden administration decided they didn't want to do that. Instead, they wanted to release them. They're releasing many of them in my home state of Texas. And I'll tell you, Harris, in Harlingen, Texas, the rate of COVID-positive cases among the illegal immigrants that they're releasing is more than 7 times greater than the rate in the U.S. population. It is indefensible, and it is a public health risk. And the Biden administration, it's why they don't want the press to know about it. They're trying to cover up this crisis, and it's self-created. It is Joe Biden that has created this crisis.
So, and I'm going to ask my team to put up Vice President Kamala Harris, because I do want to get your response to this, just as she seemingly laughed off a question from a reporter who asked yesterday if she would be visiting the border amid the growing migrant crisis. Here's the Vice President.
Do you plan to visit the border?
Not today. But I have before, and I'm sure I will again. We were left with a very challenging situation. We've got to treat this issue in a way that is reflective of our values as Americans and do it in a way that is fair and it is humane.
Senator Cruz, yesterday, former President Trump told me they were not left with the situation that Democrats say that they were. They had a transition, and we can get into detail at another time about that. But your reaction?
Well, I got to say, watching that footage, I served with Kamala a number of years in the Senate, and to see her just laugh at this crisis at the border, to see her laugh at these children, it is a humanitarian crisis that we've right now got thousands upon thousands of little boys and little girls being handed over to human traffickers who are physically abusing those kids. They're sexually abusing those kids. And the attitude of Kamala and Joe Biden is they're laughing at them. That is not compassionate. That is not giving a damn. I'll tell you, the Donna facility, the processing facility in Texas, it right now has nearly 4,000 illegal immigrants in that facility. It has a capacity of 250. So it's 1,500 times in excess of its capacity. And the reaction of the Biden administration and Kamala Harris is just to laugh and to keep making it worse. They still won't fix it. I actually don't care if she laughs or not. What I care about is stop making the problem worse, stop releasing people who are COVID positive, stop putting kids in harm's way, and stop releasing criminals that prey on the community.
Well, and if you factor the pandemic that we're in, the health crisis that we're in right now, they have created an international super spreader event at facilities along our border, endangering everybody.
They're terrified that the press
people trying to get
will
here
have
and
pictures and
Americans.
images of it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, the gag order, I'm curious if Congress can investigate that. I'll bring you back on another day. I want to dig deeper because I have never seen this kind of power excised in this country to keep us gagged. I just haven't
Fox
seen
News is willing to speak about it, but the fact that every news station is not outraged. If Donald Trump had done this and said no reporters are allowed on the border, the media would have rightly lost their minds, and y'all would have been right to. Right now, too many of the reporters in the mainstream media, they view their job as being cheerleaders for the Biden administration and apologizing for it. I think the media has a right to be there, and I'm fighting for the media to be able to go and see what's happening and get pictures and see the crisis that's happening.
And do our jobs, broadcast.
That's exactly right.
Senator Ted Cruz of the great state of Texas, thank you for your time, perspective, and we'll follow as much as we can, as closely as we can, what you do at the border.
Thank you.